think there are some misconceptions when it comes down to diagnosis. Now, I am no doctor. I do not work in the medical field. So please see the professionals for facts, advice, and anything like that. This is just my opinion and my thoughts and what I've gone through, and possibly you. So when it comes down to diagnosis, I feel as if people take the diagnosis the wrong way or have some kind of misunderstanding about it. And this is just from my experience. I'll give you an example. I can start with PTSD. Now, first of all, it's usually a stigma that the only people who experiences PTSD are from the military. Well, I don't agree with that, although I am familiar with PTSD from the military, but I'm also familiar with PTSD outside of the military. I don't feel that you have to be military or prior military to experience trauma. So there are many of us out here who have gone through traumatic experiences, and therefore we've experienced PTSD. Please, guys, never let anyone make you feel that you're crazy because you experience PTSD. I believe the majority of people out here have experienced some sort of PTSD to some degree. Now again, I'm no professional. I could be wrong. That's just my opinion. That's just my guesstimate. But what I do know is experiencing PTSD, that doesn't make you crazy. So never allow that stigma to be placed onto you just because you've experienced traumatic situations, and because of that, then you've dealt with PTSD. Just like anxieties. Anybody out there ever experience any anxieties at all? Because I know I'm not the only one who has experienced anxieties. Now, to my opinion, you can experience anxieties for a variety of reasons. Again, see the professionals for the facts. But I do feel as if a multitude of people experiences anxieties, no matter the age, race, color, ethnicity. I don't think there's any kind of category when it comes to anxieties. And I also don't believe that you should be categorized as crazy if you experience anxieties. Some have really strong anxieties. Some have very low anxieties. I'm sure there's some kind of scale, and you can fall anywhere on that scale. Sometimes your anxieties can be high, and sometimes that same very person, anxieties can be a little bit lower or even low. But I absolutely do not feel that anyone out here, including myself, is crazy if we experience anxieties. And these things that I'm saying, these are things that I myself have been diagnosed with, PTSD, anxiety. Yes, I am open enough to say, yes, I have been diagnosed with these things. But at no time did I receive a diagnosis that I'm crazy. And if you all have experienced these things as well, I'm almost certain you have not received a diagnosis from your doctor that because you went through traumas or because you experienced anxieties that you're crazy. So don't ever feel down, and don't ever accept that word crazy if those are the things you're experiencing. Even depression. People like to categorize depression and say, you know, if you're bipolar. Now, I actually have not been diagnosed bipolar. However, even if you're bipolar, that does not make you crazy. It makes you bipolar. If you were crazy, first of all, like I said a while ago, I don't believe there is a diagnosis that says crazy. So that's number one. Number two, if you experience bipolarism or if you experience depression, even if you experience panic attacks, that's also something that I was diagnosed with, panic attacks. And it is unfortunate because these things that we've experienced is the result of trauma. It is the result of things that we've lived through, we've gone through, we've survived, and we're trying to heal through those things. That doesn't put us in a category as if we're less than anyone else. We're still the same person who we are from the inside. I know I am. Diagnosis will never dictate my mentality. Diagnosis will never dictate if I'm intelligent or if I'm charismatic or any of those things. It's just a byproduct of the traumas that I've experienced. At least that's how I interpreted it when my doctor explained it to me. I never ever heard her say, and by the way, you're crazy. And I'm assuming that you all have never heard that explained to you when you were giving your diagnosis. So I really wanted to say this because a lot of times, especially if you have multiple diagnoses, like I just said, PTSD, anxieties, panic attacks, if you experience these things due to the horrific trauma that you have endured in your life, due to being a survivor of traumatic experiences, and if you go to your doctor and they're trying to help you and they let you know this is something that you can work on, this is something that, yes, it may stick with you for life, maybe it will, maybe it won't, but it is something that you can take steps towards healing. And that's all I'm saying. It doesn't make you crazy if you're taking steps towards healing those traumas. There's different levels to all of these things, I'm sure. However, I just really wanted to stress that fact so much, that it is so important for anyone. I don't care if you have 10 different diagnoses. I don't feel that crazy is a diagnosis. And me personally, I don't feel, oh, if you have anxieties, you're crazy. If you suffer from PTSD, you're crazy. If you've ever been depressed before, you're crazy. That just does not make sense to me. It's not logical to me at all. So I make sure I don't internalize stigmas that's trying to be forced upon me. And I suggest you all do the same, because at the end of the day, it takes a brave person to identify the things that they need to work on and to be brave enough to move forward to start healing those things. We don't hold on to those things. We don't, become codependent to those stigmas. I know I have done that before. Once I was diagnosed, then I attached myself to those diagnoses, which in turn made me live the life of that diagnosis, if that makes sense. But a diagnosis is just that, it's a diagnosis. I've never talked to a doctor who has told me that I cannot start my healing journey from that before. They've always encouraged me, try to push yourself every day to be a better you, to be your better self, and to just, try your best to face your traumas and live a better quality of life. If you guys are out there facing your traumas, doing the work, healing from your traumas, and being brave enough to do so, never ever, ever let anyone make you feel that you're crazy because you're doing the work. Because I'm not crazy, and neither are you.
True survivor, so hard to feel safe. It's all in our brains. Always keeping us restless with the lights. Keeping us restless with the lights. Always keeping us restless with the lights. Keeping us restless with the lights. Always keeping us restless with the lights. Keeping us restless with the lights. Always keeping